Hello children, in this video we are starting first chapter of biology, that is life processes. All of us know, you must be knowing what is biology. Biology it is made up of two words. Bios means life and logy means to study. So to study life is biology. We can also call it life sciences. So every living organism, it is having life. This life has to be maintained in these living organisms. For maintenance of life, there are many processes, and these processes which work together to maintain the life in living organisms are known as life processes. I have written the definition here. The processes which together perform the maintenance job of living organisms are called life processes. So together they work for maintenance of life. It should not be damaged, it should not be broken down. For the sustenance or for the maintenance of life, these processes, they are working. In this chapter 6, we will learn about 4 life processes. Those are nutrition, respiration, transportation and excretion. All these 4 life processes we will learn in plants as well as in human beings and some other lower plants and lower animals also. So today first we will start with the first life process, that is nutrition. Nutrition is one of the most important life process, and this is the basis of, it is the basis of life, all the processes. You know, for every work to do, every living organism, it needs some energy. And this energy, the living organism is getting from the outside atmosphere, outside its body. And this energy which the living organism is getting from the atmosphere is known as food. In the food, this energy is taken up inside the body. Inside the body, this food is transferred into many chemicals or in the form of energy. So there should be a process which should transfer or transport this outside energy or food to the inside of the body of living organism for the maintenance of life. This process is known as nutrition. So it is written here, energy from outside the body, that is food, is transferred inside the body for different purposes, and this is known as nutrition. We all know that this outside feed, mostly all the matter is made up of having carbon atoms in it. So most of the food, it is carbon based. And depending upon the complexity of carbon atom, food may be of many types. There may be inorganic food, raw material, or there may be organic. So some organism, they take up inorganic carbon compounds, and some they take organic carbon compounds. So depending upon the complexity of carbon compounds, there may be many types of mode of nutrition. How the living organisms, they take up food from outside their body. So different mode of nutrition, there may be two important, you must be knowing in lower classes we have learned about the different mode of nutrition, and we will quickly refresh these different modes of nutrition here. so that you may know what are the different modes of nutrition. So you can write down in your notebooks mode of nutrition. So two important modes of nutrition are there. First is autotrophic and second is heterotrophic. You have studied these in your lower classes, in 9th class also. So auto means self, trophic means food. The organism which form their own food, they are autotrophic. Hetero means different. The animals or the living organisms which do not form their own food, they are dependent upon the food made by others. Those are heterotrophic. So under autotrophic, we are having only two types of organisms, plants and some bacteria. Plants, they are having chlorophyll, only green plants. So plants having chlorophyll, they can make their own food. And some bacteria, with the help of some chemicals, they can also form their food. And now we know there are cyanobacteria or the blue-green algae having this blue-green color. They can also make their food. Some bacteria, with the help of chemicals, they can form their food. But mainly the green plants, they are the autotrophs and they make the food for whole of the world. For every type of living organism, it is dependent upon the food made by the plants. Now the second type is heterotrophic. Heterotrophic, they are of three types. The heterotrophic nutrition is of three types. Saprophytic nutrition, then parasitic nutrition, and then holozoic nutrition. Three types of nutritions are there. Under heterotrophs, heterotrophs are other than the plants and they are the animals. So, and some fungi also. So, heterotrophic, three types, saprophytic, parasitic and holozoic. Under saprophytic, the example is of fungi. The fungi, it is a separate group. These are not included in plants nor in animals. It is a separate group, and fungi, they live on dead and decay organic matter. So it is a different type of nutrition known as saprophytic. Now parasitic, some living organisms, they live as parasite inside the body of the other organism or on the surface of the other organism. You must be knowing like this worms, many worms or ticks in our hair, and some parasites also like malarial parasite, pathogens like what we call different types of protozoa. These are all the worms. They are parasite and they take ready-made food from the body of the host. So this is the second type of nutrition. Third is holozoic. Holo means whole. Holo means whole. W-H-O-L-E. And zoic means animals. So the animals which took the whole food or complete food, they are under holozoic nutrition. We, the human being, we are holozoic. We take the complete food, first we ingest and then it is digested. So these are the different modes of nutrition. First of all, we will learn about the autotrophic nutrition or the nutrition which is used by green plants. All of us know, very simple, the green plants under the process of photosynthesis, they made their food by the very simple inorganic raw materials from the atmosphere, and these raw materials are prominently carbon dioxide and water. Nothing on this earth can convert carbon dioxide into carbohydrates. We all are converting oxygen into carbon dioxide during respiration, but only the plants are there which convert this carbon dioxide into oxygen and carbohydrate. Carbohydrates we use as food and oxygen we take for breathing. So plants are wonderful organisms on this earth. That's why we always there is a talk to grow more plants. Now this autotrophic nutrition, it is by the process photosynthesis. As the name indicate, photo means light, synthesis means to perform or to produce. So with the help of light, carbohydrates or food or sugar is produced. That's why the name is photosynthesis. This is the definition of photosynthesis. You may write down: conversion of solar energy, that is the energy from the sun, into chemical energy using electron and proton from water. Solar energy is converted into chemical energy, and for this conversion, electron and proton from the water, they are used, and this chemical energy is in the form of two enzyme transporting molecules, or you can say this chemical energy is in the form of two molecules, and these molecules, the names are ATP and NADPH. We should know the full form. In some books NADPH2 is also written, but NADPH and NADPH2 is one and the same thing. This is the reduced state of NADP. So the full form you should know. ATP you must be knowing is adenosine triphosphate, and it is known as the energy currency of living organism or cells, because this ATP is used as energy in each and every type of biochemical reaction in the cell. NADPH is nicotinamide, adenine, dinucleotide, hydrogen, phosphate. It is a bit longer, but you have to memorize this. Nicotinamide, adenine, dinucleotide, hydrogen, phosphate, and this is the reduced form of NADP. Reduced form of, because hydrogen is added, so it is reduced form of NADP, and it is a molecule which transport enzyme during biochemical reaction. So this is the definition of photosynthesis, where solar energy is converted into chemical energy, and this chemical energy ultimately form carbohydrate or food or sugars. So this is the equation for photosynthesis. You are knowing this equation very well, used many times in 9th class, but in autotrophic nutrition this is a must. So you write down the equation: 6CO2 plus 12H2O. Sun is necessary, solar light is necessary, and green pigment chlorophyll is necessary for photosynthesis to take place. So carbon dioxide and water in presence of sunlight and chlorophyll, it is converted to glucose C6H12O6. It is a simple sugar which will ultimately form the carbohydrate, plus 6O2 plus 6H2O. So oxygen is released, carbon dioxide is used, oxygen is released, and 6 water molecules are released, 12 are used. So this is the complete equation of photosynthesis. In some books here written 6H2O and no water is here, but this is the correct equation. You have to write 12 here and again 6 here. So this is the equation for photosynthesis. Now, how this carbon dioxide is used, how water is used, what water is doing, what carbon dioxide is doing, how this oxygen is released, and how this glucose is formed, we will see. There are 4 events in photosynthesis, and these events, they took place one after the other. The first event, as you can see, is the absorption of sunlight. This is sun, this is the photon or sunlight. It is being, this first of all I will tell you, this is chloroplast. This red color structure, it is an cell organelle, and this is the chloroplast. In this chloroplast, the green pigment chlorophyll is present. So this chloroplast, it is present inside the cells of leaves and young stems. So this is the structure of chloroplast. You have learned this chloroplast in 9th class. So 2 important things, this is thylakoid disc or grana, and this is the matrix outside the thylakoid disc, and this is known as stroma. So these thylakoid or grana, they are present inside the chloroplast, and they are having chlorophyll pigment inside them. Chlorophyll present inside this grana or thylakoid disc. So what happened? First of all, the solar energy, it is being absorbed by these thylakoid disc or grana. The chlorophyll molecules, they become excited, and NADPH and ATP, 2 chemicals, this is in the form of chemical energy. This energy is formed by absorption of light from the sun. Before forming this, the second step is photolysis of water. What do we mean by photolysis of water? Photo means light and lysis means to break down. So water, it is broken down in presence of light in the form of 2H plus O. Hydrogen and oxygen, they are separated, and electron and protons, they are given which are used in the formation of NADPH and ATP. So first is absorption of light by thylakoid disc. Second is photolysis of water. The second event in photosynthesis is photolysis of water. This is water. These are hydrogen atoms, and this is oxygen atom. It comes into the chloroplast, and hydrogen is used for the formation, and oxygen, this is oxygen. Oxygen is released during photolysis of water. It means oxygen is not releasing from the carbon dioxide. Oxygen is released by water. That's why we have to write 12 here, so that 12 oxygen can be released. If we write 6 here, then 6O2 cannot be released by 6H2O. Some oxygen from carbon dioxide has to be taken. But we know this oxygen, it is released by the photolysis of water. That's why we have to write 12 here and 6 here. I think you are understanding this. So the first event is absorption of light. Second event is photolysis of water in hydrogen and oxygen. Now third is formation of this chemical energy. The electron and proton by the photolysis are being taken up by ADP and NADP, and it is converted into NADPH, and ADP is converted into ATP, the energy currency. Now this energy is used for the fixation of carbon from carbon dioxide. The next step is, this is carbon dioxide, the next step is carbon fixation or fixation of carbon dioxide, and with the help of this chemical energy, sugars or glucose and some fat and even amino acids, they are formed by this fixation of carbon. So these are the 4 steps. But up to here, the 3 steps, they are known as light reaction or light dependent reaction, because up to here it can only form in the presence of sunlight. And the 4th event or this carbon fixation, it is known as dark reaction or light independent reaction, or even after the name of the scientist, Calvin cycle. After the name of the scientist Calvin, it is also known as Calvin cycle, where carbon dioxide, after many chemical reactions, by a biosynthetic pathway, it converts into C6H12O6. First, a 3 carbon molecule is formed, and then 2 join to form a 6 carbon molecule. So up to here we can say it is light reaction, and after it dark. It is not exactly dark, it is light independent reaction. That is, carbon fixation can take place in light as well as in dark. So these are 4 events of photosynthesis. Now, where this chlorophyll chloroplasts are present, I should tell you before this, but this is the TS of leaf. Suppose this is leaf. If we cut a transverse section like this and again a second incision like this, we will get a thin section. Suppose you are cutting cucumber. This is cucumber. You cut like this and a second section like this, you will get a small slice of cucumber, and if you put flat on the slide, you will see it like this. Likewise, if this is a leaf, you cut a section like this, you will see a small thin section like this. This is the midrib and this is the lamina. So, lamina. So, this section is a part of this transverse section of leaf. So, this transverse section, it is having upper epidermis and lower epidermis. On the upper epidermis, a waxy layer or cuticle is present. This is cuticle and this is upper epidermis. This is the lower epidermis and this is stoma. Stoma is singular and stomata is plural. So, stomata are present more on the lower side of the leaf, less on the upper side, and they are present in the epidermis of leaf, and these stomata are for the exchange of gases. Oxygen and carbon dioxide, they are exchanged inside the body of the plant and outside the atmosphere through these pores known as stomata. Now, the other structure, these are rectangular cells, elongated cells. This is known as palisade parenchyma. You have studied tissues, plant tissues in 9th. So this is parenchyma and it is palisade parenchyma, and the lower one, this is known as spongy parenchyma. These are spongy parenchyma. The cells are more apart from each other, and these parenchymatous cells, they have these red things. The red dot these are chloroplasts. These are chloroplast. The organelle chloroplast having chlorophyll inside these organelles. So leaf, it is having cuticle, then epidermis, then this parenchyma, palisade and spongy having chloroplast which has chlorophyll inside them, and these are the stomata, and this is the lower epidermis. So here this is all air space, and air, carbon dioxide goes through this stomata inside the cell, and it is being fixed in the form of sugar, and oxygen, it comes out from the stomata only, and in daytime this oxygen is used inside the plant for respiration. Oxygen it does not come out, only carbon dioxide is going in, and oxygen is used for respiration, and carbon dioxide which is formed during respiration, it is used inside the plant for photosynthesis. So now we know carbon dioxide, we know this about the water. From where the water is coming? Water is absorbed by the plants from the roots, and it comes up to the leaf by ascent of sap or due to transpiration in plants. You have learned this transpiration, I think in 9th, or we learn it in transportation life process. So this is about the autotrophic nutrition. One more thing about the stomata or stoma, about the structure of stomata and opening and closing of stomata. So stomata, it is guarded by two bean-shaped or kidney-shaped cells. These cells, they are known as guard cells. These are known as guard cells. What is the specialty of these guard cells is the inner wall, it is thickened, and outer wall, it is thinner. So this is the outer thin wall of the guard cell, and this is inner, the thick cell of the guard cell. They are having vacuole, then nucleus, and then some chloroplast also. So this is the structure of guard cell, and this complete structure is known as stoma, and this is the pore of stoma or opening of stoma. So these two cells, they are present. In this vacuole, water is present, which is absorbed by the epidermal cells. Around this stomata, epidermal cells are present. These cells, these epidermal cells are present around the stomata, and water from these epidermal cells is being taken up by the guard cells, or it is released in these epidermal cells. What happens when plants need carbon dioxide or exchange of gases has to be taken place? Then these stoma, it becomes open. How? It absorbs water. When water is absorbed, the cell, it swells up. When it swells up, due to the thin wall, this side, this is extended more towards outside, and this is the thick wall, it goes inside little than this. So, and likewise here also, the thick cell, the thick wall, it goes in, and thin wall, it goes out. So by the absorption of water, these two guard cells, they become apart from each other, and the opening in between these two guard cells, it opens. This is how and at this time, the stoma or the stomata, they are known in turgid state. What happens when plants has not to exchange gases, then these stomata, they become closed like this. The opening is in between them is closed. How this opening is closed? Now the water molecules, the water comes out from the cells to the epidermal cells. When the water is released, the cell is known as flaccid. When water comes out from the cell, the vacuole is now the smaller. The water comes out of the cell. There is no turgidity, no tension, no pressure on the walls. This wall goes in. This wall is as it is, and this opening is closed. So when the guard cells are flaccid, stomata are closed, and the guard cells are turgid, stomata are open, and opening and closing of stomata are due to the taking up of water or releasing water to the epidermis. So this is how stomata functions. This is all about autotrophic nutrition. Now we will learn about the heterotrophic nutrition in the other video in part 2. Thank you.